Hello, this is Political Forum for Wednesday, November 26, 2014. We welcome as our guest today Alderman Joe Moore of the 49th District. Alderman Moore, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Louis Mosos, a board member at CAN TV. Political Forum is a live interactive program brought to you as a community service by CAN TV. The focus of tonight's show will be the city's upcoming holiday events. We welcome your questions and comments for Alderman Moore by calling us at 312-738-1060, the number at the bottom of your screen. In the next 25 minutes, we'll do our best to get as many of your questions or comments on the air. Alderman Moore, would you like to open up by talking about your district briefly?
Sure. I represent the 49th Ward, which is primarily the Rogers Park community. We're located on the far northeast side of Chicago. Evanston borders me on the north, Lake Michigan on my east. I go as far west as Western Avenue, although for the most part my western boundary is Ridge Boulevard, and then I go as far south as Devon. So it's about 80% of the Rogers Park community and a tiny sliver of the West Ridge community.
And you have a very active Facebook page. If I could just put your information on here, especially an email blast with a lot of events going on around the city. Anybody can just sign up?
Absolutely. I enjoy communicating with my constituents and being active on the social media. What you're looking at right now is my email address for my ward office and my website, ward49.com. I have a electronic newsletter that goes out several times a week with important news for the community, and I encourage people to sign up for my website. You can do that again on my website at ward49.com. At the top of the website on the home page, you can put in your email address and get my electronic newsletters, which I think have been very informative and very helpful for my constituents and been a good way of informing them about what I'm doing, what's going on in the community, what's going on at City Hall. And I also am very active on my Facebook page. It's Joe Moore 49 is my official Facebook page address. And also a lot of the other social media in the neighborhood, Every Block, some of the other Facebook pages. I think it's a tremendous way of communicating with my constituents, of engaging with them. I converse with them all the time. A lot of my colleagues and other elected officials tend to shy away from it because you get your fair share of what they call sock puppets and everything on there. But there's a lot of very serious constituents with serious concerns, and I think they appreciate the fact that I engage with them one-on-one in a very public forum.
A lot of valuable information. We urge everyone to sign up. It's very easy to do. Right now, I think we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, I've been hearing a lot about participatory budgeting. I think it's a really great idea. I was just kind of curious, does it increase people's involvement in the community even beyond the budgeting process, you think? And also, why aren't we seeing this in more wards yet?
Well, thank you for that question. The caller asked me about participatory budgeting. It's a process that I introduced to the 49th Ward about 6 years ago. What participatory budgeting is it takes a portion of a municipal budget, a city budget, and turns it over to the people to decide directly on how that portion of the budget is spent. Basically taking the elected officials out of it, or at least out of the decision-making process. Participatory budgeting is a process that actually started in Porto Alegre, Brazil, 25 years ago. The city government there, the new administration came in. They were very progressive. They saw that previous administrations had very much been unfair to some of the more disadvantaged sections of the city. Money was only spent in areas where people with money lived. And so they used this process of turning the decision-making power over to the people. And what happened was they found that more people became engaged in the civic life of their community and fairer decisions were made. So I was the first person in the United States, the first political jurisdiction in the United States to adopt participatory budgeting. And we did it with a budget that I get. Each alderman in Chicago gets $1.3 million to spend at their discretion on capital projects, infrastructure projects. And I take $1 million of that dollars and dedicate it to this process. And so we just got through step one of the process for the 2015 capital budget, where we introduced participatory budgeting to the uninitiated in my community, asked for volunteers to serve as community representatives. And beginning next week, the community representatives which are about 60 community volunteers, all self-selected, will begin the process of researching ideas for the 2015 capital budget, and then those ideas will be submitted back to the community as a whole for final feedback, and then the best ideas we put on a ballot. And then next May, everyone in my community will be able to vote. And by everyone, I mean literally every adult from the age of 16 over can vote. You don't have to be a registered voter. You don't have to be a citizen. All you have to do is demonstrate that you reside within the boundaries of the 49th Ward. Everybody pays taxes, and so I believe everybody deserves, they have a right to decide how at least one portion of their tax dollars are spent. So I encourage anyone who wants to become involved to contact my office, visit my website, learn more about participatory budgeting. There's the contact information. Now, the caller asked, what are the effects of it? At least in terms of, do people get more involved? One of the neat things about participatory budgeting, you go into you have these community meetings, and I see people I've never seen before. When you have community meetings, you have what I call the meeting junkies, the people you see all the time who come to meetings, and it's great. I want to see people involved. But what participatory budgeting does is it brings new people involved and gets more people engaged in the civic life of their community. So it's really exciting, and we've seen that happen here. New community organizations forming as a result of it. And actually, I can't prove it scientifically, but I can tell you anecdotally, since we've done participatory budgeting, voter turnout in the so-called real elections has increased. We used to be at about the citywide percentage in terms of voter turnout, almost mirroring the city. Since participatory budgeting, we've seen percentage turnout that's 4 or 5% times greater than what the citywide turnout is. Is there a connection? I don't know, but I do know that more people are becoming involved in this, and people are really excited about the fact that not only do they have a say, but they have real power to decide how to spend real money.
It does sound like a great program, and if I'm not mistaken, I hear a lot of other aldermen are following suit and trying to implement similar.
Oh, he did ask whether other aldermen were involved in this, other wards. A few. The 22nd Ward, Alderman Munoz has done it, and they're in their second year. Alderman John Arena in the 45th Ward has done it for the last 3 years. And we hope with the new election and some new aldermen coming in probably that more will get involved. I think one of the reasons more aren't involved is it takes a lot of work. And most of my colleagues have very limited staff, and the staff has a lot of demands, and it really takes a commitment. That's why we're working to try to get more resources to help the aldermen. One thing I was able to get last year is a liaison in the budget office that works with the aldermen that do participatory budgeting and help them interface with the city. It has been real successful in other parts of the country. New York City, half the city council districts there, about 26 of them, have done participatory budgeting in their districts, and the city of Vallejo, California, is doing it on a citywide basis. Greensboro, South Carolina, just stepped up to the plate with participatory budgeting. There are some city council members in St. Louis and in San Francisco that are doing it. The city of Los Angeles is looking at doing it on a citywide basis. There's been a lot of interest in San Diego. So, in other words, it's spreading throughout the country like wildfire. I think because people really hunger to feel involved with their government again, but they just don't want to be talked to. They want to be involved, and they want to have real power.
Sounds like a great concept. Thank you for your question, caller. I believe we have another caller on the line. Hi, you're on the air with Alderman Moore.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question concerning the Lyon Beach and the field house.
Yes.
I know that recently that you held a meeting with the community. I just want to get some further insight and any developments on what might happen, especially with that field house, because there's such a rich history with it.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. The caller is referring to the Lyon Park Beach Field House, located at the end of Touhy Avenue in Lake Michigan. It's a structure that originally was built to be a water intake center for the village of Rogers Park back over 130 years ago. It became part of the Chicago park system at the turn of the last century, and was a field house where the very, very popular young lifeguard program was run by Sam Lyon, after whom the park was named when he passed away back in the 1960s. The lifeguard program has continued. It's extremely popular, and we want to continue to have it incorporated. The problem is the field house has gone under a lot of disrepair, so now it really is just simply a storage, functions as a storage center. A couple of neighbors have approached me and with some really exciting ideas for turning it into a nature center while preserving a lifeguard program, also having it be a nature center. Makes a lot of sense right along the lake. And so we've shared some of those ideas at a community meeting we had last month. We asked for volunteers to serve on a committee that would take those ideas and try to implement them further. By the way, the Park District is really excited about it, and I think we can, and we also have gotten some money committed from State Senator Heather Staines, some state capital dollars, about $100,000. So we're talking some real money here, some real involvement. And so the committee is going to be meeting on Saturday, December 13th. I believe it's that second Saturday in December at my office. So if the caller or anyone else watching this is interested in becoming involved with that committee, yep, contact my office. Those are the contact information, and Ward 49 at cityofchicago.org, and we will put you on the committee. It's not an aldermanic appointed committee. It's a committee of neighborhood volunteers who self-select, and together we're going to work to come up with some exciting plans for the Lyon Park Fieldhouse.
Alderman, it definitely sounds like you're busy with a lot of these issues going on in the district and being a pioneer in participatory budgeting in this country. But I think one of your many hats is as chair of the Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation. And there seems to be a ton of holiday events going on in the city. I don't know if they started earlier this year, if it just seems like that to me. But would you like to elaborate on some of the special events we can enjoy?
As you indicated, I wear many hats. And one of the hats I wear is that as chairman of the City Council Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation. So we oversee a lot of the cultural affairs events in the city, the museums, the tourism that goes through Choose Chicago. And one of the great things about the city of Chicago, now that we're coming up on the holiday season, by the way, happy Thanksgiving, everybody out there. We're going to have a lot of holiday-oriented family events that people can attend. And maybe if you can put up on the screen, we're doing Christmas or holiday caroling at Cloudgate, otherwise known as the Bean, coming up on Fridays beginning tomorrow all the way through the 19th of December over at the Bean at Millennium Park. This is one thing that I really love. Every afternoon during the weekday, Monday through Friday, we have concerts at City Hall in the lobby, and they are really, really neat because they bring kids from different schools to sing holiday carols. It really is, it cheers me up quite a bit. We also have the Dance Along Nutcracker at the Chicago Cultural Center on December 7th. The Chris Kindle Market becoming very exciting, very, very popular in the Daily Center all throughout Christmas. I was just at City Hall before I came over here, and the market was going really, really strong, and the Christmas tree was all lit up, holiday tree, if you will, and it's just wonderful, wonderful thing. And of course, if you're into ice skating, the McCormick Tribune Ice Rink over there at Millennium Park, in front of the grill there, the restaurant, is another wonderful place to enjoy and locate. Of course, those of you who want to take your kids to see Santa presides under the great Christmas tree at Daly Plaza from the Friday after Thanksgiving right up to Christmas Eve.
Thank you for that. I believe we have another caller on the line. Hi, caller. You're on the air with Alderman Moore.
Hello, I have a question about when will the rest of the planned street repair will be completed?
Very good. Is the caller still there, or we lost her? I wanted to ask if she had any street in mind. We did actually we resurfaced this year 72 blocks of streets, including Clark Street and a lot of residential streets. We had the I would say, mixed fortune, good and bad, of having People's Gas in our neighborhood the last few years tearing up our streets. The good news on that is that now Rogers Park has all new gas mains. So we won't have worry about any gas leaks or interruptions in gas service for many, many years to come. The bad news, of course, is it tore up our streets, and it was incredibly inconvenient for motorists in my neighborhood and for those who rely on the street to park their cars. We're almost through it, but during the time they did it, and they've been in the neighborhood since 2011, we had to put a lot of the street resurfacing on hold, because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to resurface a street only to have the gas company come and tear it up right away. That's a waste of tax dollars, and people get understandably very upset about that. So we put all those things on hold, and so now the gas company is about 90% done in the community. Just a few streets left, Greenview Avenue being one of the few being left to be done. But all the other streets we were able to resurface, and we were able to resurface, stretch our tax dollars a lot further and get a lot of streets done that we ordinarily wouldn't have done, because People's Gas not only did the streets that they had torn up and the Porsche streets, but in many cases, because they understood how inconvenient it was, we were able to prevail upon them to do some extra streets as well. So we added some more streets to our portfolio. So the worst streets in the neighborhood have been done. There's still a few left to remain to be done, and I encourage the caller, if she's interested in having more streets done, to participate in our participatory budgeting process, because most residential streets are funded, resurfacing is funded through the aldermanic menu money, that discretionary fund I talked about. And I let the voters decide what percentage of that fund should be devoted to street resurfacing and what streets should be resurfaced. So I would encourage a caller to, at a minimum, vote next spring for street resurfacing if that's important to her. And if she wants to know about her street in particular, call my ward office or email us at that number that we've shown before, 773-338-5796, or Ward 49 at cityofchicago.org, and we'll let you know if your street's slated to be resurfaced, or if not, we'll see if we can get it on the list.
So new gas mains and new road, it sounds like a win at the end of the day.
It does, but there's a lot of pain to get there, and
right.
But as they say, no pain, no gain, and with any improvement, once it's done, people tend to forget all the inconvenience, and they enjoy the newly resurfaced streets and the fact that they have reliable gas service.
I'd like to remind viewers you're watching Political Forum, a community service of CAN TV. I'm Louis Mososa, board member here at CAN TV, and we'd like to urge everyone to call 312-738-1060 with any questions or comments for Alderman Moore. I believe we have another caller on the line. Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Alderman Moore.
Hello.
I actually had a question about the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Oh, okay.
That is tomorrow morning, is that correct? What street does that run down?
That's a good question. I believe it's Michigan Avenue, but I'm not absolutely positive. We can, if you want to, I don't know if you're able to give your phone number to. Well, here, let me do this. Why don't you, if you don't mind, call my office tonight. There's a voicemail on there. After the show, when I head back, I'll check the message and give you the exact answer as to where the parade will be.
Thank you very much for your question. I can just imagine, just with the ton of events that are coming up, it's been a very busy committee lately. So in addition to the holiday events, participatory budgeting, what are some other issues that have kept you busy?
Oh boy, there's so much going on in the neighborhood. We've talked about a lot of the good things. So I want to talk to you about one more good thing, since again we're in the spirit of the holiday, and that is a program called Live, Love, Shop Rogers Park. It's a way of encouraging people to shop locally, shop at the independently owned businesses within Rogers Park. And there's a special deal going on for businesses that are in our various special service areas. And primarily, that's most of the businesses in our community, along Clark Street, along Howard Street, along Morse Avenue. And what you can do is, if you can collect $100 and more in receipts from at least 3 different independently owned businesses on those streets, and receive a $25 rebate. So you buy $100 worth of merchandise on any independently owned store on Morse, Clark, or Howard Street, or on Sheridan Road down by Loyola University, and you could get a $25 rebate. If you collect $150 or more in receipts, you get a $50 rebate. So that's a tremendous savings. We're talking, essentially a 30% off sale if you buy in the neighborhood. So if you're interested in that, go to rogers-park.com. That's the website for the Rogers Park Rogers Park Business Alliance, and you can download a form and save your receipts, submit the form, and then go ahead and shop until you drop in Rogers Park, and get some wonderful rebates on your merchandise. If you live with someone, a parent or a spouse, partner, make sure that they buy some money, that you buy some merchandise, and you can submit both your receipts, and your family could save even more money. So again, go out, look up the Rogers Park Business Alliance on the web, download their form. It's right there. You go on their homepage. It's right there, and you will be able to save some great money and help support local businesses.
Thank you very much for that question. We're running out of time. I believe we have one more caller on the line. We could get to it briefly.
Sure.
Hi, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Alderman Moore.
Good evening.
I have a question. Parking has become almost impossible around downtown, which makes it extremely hard to find parking and attend events. Any plans about reducing parking fees?
So you're talking about parking in in the downtown area?
Downtown area, correct.
Yeah. It's a constant struggle to provide more parking in downtown. One thing that we're really blessed with in our city is an excellent public transportation system, and it's getting better. The CTA is really undergoing a renaissance with a lot of new developments and improvements to all of its stations, and improvements to the tracks that are making the trains more reliable, and the buses and new buses to make those more reliable. So I don't know if I can, we can promise you a whole lot of more parking opportunities downtown without, of course, having to pay money. It is getting very expensive. But the CTA is still a real bargain, and they run extra trains when there are special events. So that really it would be my answer is to explore public transit options and save some money and make your life a little bit less hassle filled.
And some of the things I believe we're hearing from the community is that with the new parking meters, it might be actually getting easier for people to find parking downtown.
That was a very unpopular initiative that the previous mayor undertook, the parking meter deal, and rightly so. But you're right, it did have the effect of turning over parking meters more, and if you're able to park on the street, you're still going to spend less money. As expensive those meters are, they're less expensive than parking in one of the downtown garages. So that's another possibility for people to explore as well. I've taken advantage of it many times and have found it's a lot more easy to find parking on the street than there used to be, because there is much more turnover. And they've got a more convenient way to pay now too. With you can do it on an app, so you can make sure that you don't run your meter over and incur a large ticket. Especially
with these polar vortex temperatures
we're
having.
Yeah, we're having January weather in November, so it's real important. So just got information that the parade is on State Street between Wacker and Harrison. So all the way down from Wacker to Harrison on State Street, which is great because that's we want to encourage people to shop State Street. So I hope the caller and everyone else joins the parade tomorrow, and welcome the holidays to Chicago, and hopefully we have a very good season for everybody.
So I'd like to thank you very much for being on the show. We're out of time. Again, if you need to reach Alderman Moore at his office, please call the number you see on the screen. Alderman, do you have any brief closing statements?
I do. I want to wish everyone viewing this show a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a great time for families to get together. There's very little pressure. All you do is eat. So that's what makes it my favorite holiday. And I also wish everyone a very happy, safe, and peaceful holiday season. And I'm looking forward to great things in the future.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, the viewers, for all of your calls and comments. Our telephone technician has been Sylvia.
Sylvia's been great.
She's been awesome. Political Forum is brought to you as a community service by CAN TV. Everyone here at CAN TV would like to wish you a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And please join us again for Political Forum next Wednesday, when our guest at 7 o'clock will be 9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beal. Have a good evening.